Okay, so if you said that we're gonna localize it, meaning that we still use the one in the textbook, but then to use the question that I put in, the local politicians whatsoever, I need to add another listening audio and text for
Yes.
that particular question only.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you want to add on localizations, actually the whole unit's localization is needed for non-textbook. For non-textbook content, there is nothing informations for the non-textbook content of informations. You did not touch on the non-textbook materials that you have to add on. So for the localization itself, right, based on the same topic, so what kind of materials that you can do and add it on in the localizations here. So the agreements that you have stated there for localization, the cultural for all strongly agree, honestly, no. Okay? Your evaluations column for the number 5 there. Is it clear? Okay, it's lack of sections. Yes, probably you extended the questions, but the question that you extended does not map into the sections of localizations because the passage of reading do not have those content. Clear now? Okay?
Yes, okay.
Right, and
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so for vocabulary and speaking as well, like they have to listen to an audio. So for the instruction, like can we say that you need to focus on certain words so that they can do the activity later. Like for example, the write 3 sentences. Do we have to like
No.
focus on the words? No. Okay.
No. The answer is no. Okay. When it comes to vocabulary, yes, you presented the vocabulary sections and then you ask the students to justify the meanings and so on. Okay, now when the vocabulary of the exposure here in learning itself, we do not go in there. Okay, focus on the vocabulary drilling. The vocabulary will be integrated in the session of the skills. Does it need? Okay, so the list of vocabulary, if you look into each unit and each page itself, they have the word check. And then they have one section of vocabulary. Okay, so what are those functions for? Those vocabulary is the one that, and even speaking, that means students need these words that we are exposing them now for them to understand the content, help them to be able to answer the question or read the passage, and then for listening, they are able to spell and fill out those words with the correct spelling. And then in speaking, that means these words are needed to help them to develop or to describe in the sentence content. So that is the functions of vocabulary here. So if you look into the units of the vocabulary that provided in here, in the unit sections of learning, they're integrated with listening, correct? If you look into both units, they're integrated in listening. Why is it in listening, the vocabulary sessions? Those listed words, they are needed to complete the blends of the feelings. And you want to make sure that students are able to spell, all right, that particular natural disaster in a correct form. That's why the vocabulary was being emphasizing. Vocabulary is needed for the students to complete the task. It is helping the students to understand, to get the correct answer, or to complete the task. That is the functions of vocabulary. So if you remember, in the reading class itself, I did mention to you all, before you begin any reading classes, vocabulary need to be taught first. Why? And those words I told you all, you have to explain in the meaning or provide relevant visual aids for the students to understand before reading passage. Why? Because after that, they can understand when they are reading the passage, it won't be a struggle or stuck for the students to have the misleading, all right, of content understanding. So that is the functions of vocabulary. Clear now? So I did mention as well, if in the reading was integrated with speaking, okay, when it comes to speaking, they are vocabulary as well. And those listed vocabulary must be those words that needed in the speaking sections. That means they need those words to speak, to complete, and it's being used in the speaking sections. Remember or not? I did mention that. All right, it's not just merely blindly listed any words, but then you selected the listed words of guidance there is a need of that particular activity or task of completions or understanding. Okay?
Okay. And it is also to help understand the whole
Correct.
content of the.
Whole content,
Thank
and
you.
then it's helping them to develop the conversations to complete the task, and even writing sometimes. Sometimes the students cannot explain the writing section because they do not know how to spell the words, do not know which word can be used to replace it. These are the vocab that we are focusing at. Clear now? Got it?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Am I too late or too early? We have ended the first group of presentations.
Madam,
Okay.
can I ask one more question?
Yes.
Do we need to include learning standard in the assignment?
Learning standard, you can include it when you are looking into in-depth of improvements that needed. But now you have, like for example, your sections of analysis here, you put in learning standard. The example is only meant for one activity, but you are not looking into the whole unit of sessions. Okay, from your evaluations here, during your evaluations, you are looking into in general of whole. So when you say you are doing expanding, so which sections of expanding that you have done? It's not only focusing into one particular lessons of the learning standard. Understand? So when you provided one particular learning standard itself, okay, so I understood what you were doing because you were using, because in the textbook there, each lesson is only one learning standards given there. You do not look into the non-textbook because non-textbook they have more, correct? In the past textbook, all right? So non-textbook sections, what are the things that you have to talk up? Okay, so in your assignment you have to talk up more.
So the ones that we use from textbook will
Textbook,
be one learning standard,
yes, you need to
and then the
expand.
one we added, sorry, madam, the one that we added will be another learning standard.
Learning standard.
And that
So
it's two
what are
separate
the
lessons.
of that you are looking into?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So when you are looking into the lack of, so you want to use the learning standard to produce it? Yes, you may. Okay. And then measure the activity that you provide that fulfill the needs of the integrated skills, the complementary skills. It is combined together properly. It is not necessary focusing in main skills because main skill and complementary skill both need to be combined in the sections of producing and designing the materials and activity as well. Okay? Got it?
Yes.
All right, any more questions?
No from me.
Okay, now we'll move on to the second group. Here you may go.
Is my group member here?
I'm not
Yes.
sure.
Madam,
Yes.
can I take a pee break for a while? Like 2 minutes, 1 minute.
Why?
Can I go to the toilet for like 1 minute?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah.
How long will the second group take?
How long you want us to, madam? I mean, you want us to make it like simplify it, like make it short?
Not to say simplify because I have the workshop training at 12. That memo came in yesterday only.
Okay, we will try to. Yeah.
Because I have the workshop training from 12 to 3. Then 3 o'clock I have class.
Alright, madam.
Is it from your group? Yesterday, who was anyone tested me? They want to meet me today for the assignment. Hello?
Nobody from the group, I guess.
Yeah, not from our group.
I think it's a different group, madam.
Different group, huh?
Different group, yeah.
Because the student tested me without name and without telling me who is this and then from which group. So suddenly ask me, Madam, are you free to meet? I want to meet you and consult about the presentations tomorrow.
Not this, madam, not this.
Who is projecting the slides?
Me.
Correct. Yeah.
You can upload. You can start presenting the slide first.
All right.
I have.
Yeah, but I cannot see anything.
Wait,
What about the
you
rest?
cannot see it?
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
see. Presentation is up.
Cuba tutup. Sekejap.
Okay, hold on.
Now you present the whole screen, then you can see it.
Can you guys see it?
No. Okay, now it's presenting.
Okay.
But then I didn't get the slides. What about the rest?
You can see the slides. Maybe madam will need to refresh your
Buka first slide.
I can't see the slide.
First slide.
What? I can
You
hear
can see the slide?
Yes.
I can.
yeah.
First slide buka. Yeah, intro itu.
Okay, sorry.
You can see, but I can't see anyway.
Oh, still can see, madam?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
Nothing
most
on
of
the
us can see it.
you can see.
Yeah, madam.
Yes.
I can see it.
Okay, what happened to mine? No, I can't get any. If I exit, then the whole group will exit already.
Oh, yo.
Yeah, I think so because you're the host.
Yes,
Is
I'm
it?
the host.
Nah.
Madam apa tu? Ayurita buat. Okay.
So, madam, Alita always like exit and like,
Yeah,
gets
maybe you can
into
try
the-
to refresh it, madam.
Yeah, let me try to refresh the page, madam. Madam?
Refresh lah tu.
Refresh, okay. Okay, Ali,
Yeah, now we can see you, madam.
Yeah, madam, now we can
Oh,
see you. Yeah,
yes.
madam, yeah.
Wait, is it earlier you open your cam but we
No,
can't
I
see
did
you?
on my cam.
Oh,
Oh, okay,
I'm
okay,
very
okay.
sleepy.
oh, okay.
Oh, it's okay, madam. First time for everything. Can you show
Actually,
slides?
since last week I was not feeling well already.
Oh, you want,
Are you
madam?
feeling better now, madam?
This week feel better. Actually, last week I was supposed to go for the checkup and then might need admissions, but then I delayed.
Don't delay, madam. It's not good. You have to go and see the doctor.
You
Yes,
know, I got a lot of work to do now.
No, madam. Your health is more important.
yes, madam. Get a secretary, madam.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Presentation boleh tanggung madam.
Everything in the hospital. I need to double think of it.
Maybe you can contact your past, like students, like, hey, you still remember me? Can you help me out with it?
Yeah, I will arrange it probably next week. I will arrange it for the checkup. Okay. Now we proceed to the sections.
All right.
Are all your members in?
Yes, all of them are in.
Cute character. So does it represent your characteristic?
Kinda. What do you think, madam?
In a way. In a
I'm
way.
not very sure. Actually, I missed the face-to-face class. I would like to meet all of you and I can analyze you all better.
Yeah, actually, we never have class with you before, madam. So
Yeah, this is
our
first time,
class with you. Yeah.
This is the first time that you meet me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm very particular type.
Yeah, we can see that, madam. We can see that.
Yeah. Yep. We noticed that.
All right. So actually, I'm more emphasizing into quality. Okay. So I
Okay.
don't bother what kind of question you're asking. So I won't minus marks due to the questions that you ask and so on. So I'm more into the content and quality of the productivity. And what I concern is your understanding. Okay. All right.
Understood,
We
madam.
can proceed.
Madam.
Alright. Alif, are you?
Yeah, I'm just getting some things.
So, good morning, everyone. This is our topic for today. We covers Unit 8 and Unit 9 of Form 2. And me myself, Naresh, my group members Alif Alampi, Hani Amirah, Ali Huzaifah, and Shafiqah Zulkifli. Alright, so we will get into it. For the first one is Unit 8, which is good luck and bad luck. And we'll start with the checklist of the questions in the checklist. So these are the questions in the checklist for grammar. We will get into the comments for the next slide. So the first question covers a range of grammatical features, sequencing of grammar coincides with the course objectives, grammatical concepts are meaningful, recycled throughout the text, explanations are clear, concise, and at an appropriate level. The majority of grammar exercise or tasks are meaningful. Alright, so let's get to the comments of grammar. So for the first question, I agree, where it covers present tense and past simple tense. For the grammatical, it covers grammatical features. For the second question, I'm strongly agree with it, where the sequencing of grammar matches the course objectives. For the third one, I strongly agree as well. Throughout the unit, the grammatical concepts are repeated and reinforced in a range of different tasks. And the fourth one, agree, where all activities instructions are clear except for exercise 2 in the textbook page 86, where the instruction is a bit unclear and confusing for students to understand. And the fifth one is agree, where grammar exercises are relevant and meaningful for students of the level of Form 2. All right, next page, Ika. Okay, so for the adaptation, the reason of it is that it lacks grammar explanation on the present and present perfect and past simple. Because for the exercises, it straight away give the present perfect and past simple exercise, but it didn't give any explanation on it. So for the technique, it's adding and adding. For the objective, it's personalization. Next slide. Okay, so this is the simple past tense, which I adapted from the internet, and the source is from Grammar Monster. This is about simple past tense. Next slide, Ika. Okay, this is from the internet as well. For present perfect tense, which is from Advanced Learners English Grammar. Next slide, Ika. So I included three explanations for the students on present perfect and for past simple and present perfect. And next slide, Ika. So for the exercises, I took it from the textbook page 89, where for the first one, I just changed the instruction a bit because the textbook instruction is a bit lengthy. So I make it short and simple for the students. And for the highlighted one, the extended question. For the second one as well, it's from the textbook, page 89. For this, I didn't change as I find it it's clear for the students to understand. And next slide, Ika. Okay, this is from the textbook as well, page 89, where this is also I didn't change anything because the exercise are clear and it's easy for the students to do it. Right. Next slide. All right. So that's all for my part. Ali, you can. All right. See your part, Ali. Sorry, Alif.
Sorry. Yeah, there was a bit of confusion there. All right, Mr. Naresh, thank you for giving me the spotlight. So over the exercise part, I'm gonna talk about my checklist over here. So over the statement, a wide range of interactional contexts are addressed. Example, discussions, reports, interviews, playing games, yada yada. You guys can see. I rate it as 2, which is disagree. The second one is like the exercises represent real life tasks. I give it 5. I strongly agree. The third one, exercises are personalized and creative. I give it 2. Disagree. Task address, pronunciation, and intonation. I give it the lowest 1. Strongly disagree. Task address a variety of learning styles. I give it 3. Neutral. Exercises incorporate authentic cultural material. I give it 4. Agree. And the last one, pair and group work is included appropriately. I give it 3, also neutral. Next slide, Pika. So the comments over here, like the first one, although there are some interactional activities, too much focus is given to the dialogues. Too much focus about it. And this does not give students enough output and lacks a variety of interaction setting. The second comment is the exercises present a great variety of real-life tasks and that are in the range of the student's level. The third one is exercises are repetitive and are not personalized, which makes it harder for students to stay interested and maintain an active role in the learning. And the last comment is no task that address pronunciation and intonation. Only in the teacher's guide tasks address pronunciation and intonation. Next slide, Ika. For the next one is kinesthetic learning style is not being used in the task, and some students learn best by doing it hands-on, which also includes body movement. The sixth one is it covers restrictions of countries like Ireland, United Kingdom, and Greece. You can see that. And last but not least, tasks included in pairs, as a class, and individually only, and group work of 3 to 5 in a group should be included as students can learn to manage the time and improve their communication skills. Next, Ika. So I decided to do the adaptation, and the reasons for the lowest, which one I read it on, is the lack of focus on pronunciation and intonation. And the technique that I did is adding, expanding, and the objective is to modernize. Okay. Next slide, Ika. So I decided to do a speaking activity, which I let the students to watch a YouTube video on 7 celebrities who have superstitions or lucky numbers. Like basically, like they believe in lucky charms. As they believe in lucky charms, I want the students after they watch the video to share their own lucky charms that they believe in to the whole class in a way like suggesting them to talk in class, improving their speaking skills. So that's why, and there's the video over there. The 7 celebrities who will have superstitious or lucky numbers. Next slide, Ika. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you very
this is my
much.
part. Okay, thank you, Alif. Now this is my part. Okay, as you can see, the readings. These are the reading checklist. The first one is readings are related to the goals and themes of the chapters. Second, a variety of passages from different English-speaking countries are included. Authentic texts serve the basis of readings. Meaningful play reading activities are included, and meaningful prose reading activities are included. So, okay, these are the evaluation and comments that I have. For the first one, I strongly agree as the reading materials and text used in this unit relate strongly to the theme and goal. For example, the textbook provided the reading text about superstitions. And for the second one, I give it a 3 as a neutral because there is not much variety of passage that covers other English-speaking countries, only Ireland, UK, and also Greece. The textbook also should cover at least one more English-speaking countries like Malaysia, as in the students can relate better as they are living here. So the third one, I strongly agree, as an online magazine article on superstition and sport was used as one of the authentic texts in this unit. The fourth one, I strongly agree. The pre-reading activities are all known as warmer in the unit was provided sufficiently. And the last one, the post-reading activities in the unit was provided sufficiently. So, okay, for the adaptation, I decided to adapt because a student should be able to acknowledge on Malaysian superstitions. The technique I use is adding, expanding, and the objective is localized. So the activity would be read an article on Malaysian superstitions, and there's the link. So the task would be to students for the students to act out each superstitions in a group of 4. In this way, the students can be more engaged, and the kinesthetic learners can be more can get more hands-on activities. Can get in more hands-on activities as they learn better that way. So the selected superstitions are washing hands and feet immediately on returning home, never letting a broom touch the feet, going home before the sky turns dark, and lastly, never stepping on books or sheets of paper. Okay, so that is all for my part on Unit 8. I'll pass it to Hani. Kelly. Sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Honest mistakes.
So we're gonna look at the writing. Okay. So for the writing, the first one is exercises are related to the goals and themes of the chapter. And this one I actually strongly agree. The exercises provided in this unit are well related to the goals and themes. And the second one, meaningful pre-writing activities are included, which I also agree. Uh, the activities for the pre-writing, or known as the warmer, was meaningful, efficient, and student engaged. Meaningful post-writing activities are included. I also agree with this one because the activities for the post-writing were meaningful and efficient and student engaged. And fourthly, a process approach is included so as to guide the learner's writing, giving the steps to produce the writing. So the guides was given, and it was okay, but not too specific, but still okay. All right, next slide. So even though overall the writing was okay, I decided to do some adaptation to it because there was one particular question that for me I think is kind of irrelevant. Okay, so as you can see, uh, I have this page from the book. So the second question, match the emoticons with the meanings. So basically, there's 6 emojis there, where students will match it with the intended meaning. So they will guess if a writer writes, use this emoticon, what does it mean? Are they happy or are they sad? So for me, I think this is pretty outdated. I mean, overall, it's okay, but okay for 2005. So I think it's way too outdated because nowadays students have mobile phones. Most students have mobile phones at the age of primary school where they do online classes, right? So they know how to text their friends, and so they know how to use emojis. So this task is really outdated. So I decided to replace this, and the objective of it is to have a bit more personalization in the activity, as I mentioned in the previous comment. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is the adapted questions. Instead of matching the emojis to the questions, to the answer, I opted for a more personalized route, which is describe situations where you would feel these emotions: unhappy, surprised, happy, laughing, and annoyed. Okay, for me, I think this is a bit more personalized for the students. It will get the students to be more engaged in the writing, especially after this question. They would have to write an email, so they need to know how to express their emotions better. Am I right? Okay, next slide. Okay, Ani, you can proceed.
Okay, so for listening, there's 4 items. So the first one is listening activities are related to the goals and themes of the chapters, which I agree. The listening activities are related to the goals and the themes of the chapters. Second one is meaningful pre-listening activities are included, which I also agree. I strongly agree with because it provides good introduction, reinforce students' prior knowledge about the topic before proceeding to the listening activity. And the third one, meaningful post-listening activities are included, which I also agree, which I also strongly agree with, because it reinforces students' understanding of the listening material and maximizes the use of the audio by practicing the students' speaking skills. And the last one is the task requires the learner to focus on different skills, which is information gathering, general idea, and cultural information, which I also strongly agree with because it focuses on a lot of different skills like listening for information gathering, listening for specific information, and listening for speaking practice. Next one. Moving on to vocabulary. There are two items, which is meaningful practice activities are included, which I agree with. The four, the activity encourages vocabulary recall about the topic and provides a variety of new vocabulary about verbs of movement. However, I think more activities should be added. And the vocabulary chosen is appropriate level, which I strongly agree with, because I think the vocabulary is appropriate for Form 2 students level. So the next one is the adaptation for the next slide. For this, I apologize, the image is a little bit unclear, but I adapted this whole activity from page I'll clear that later because I forgot. But this one the reason I adapted this activity is because it lacks vocabulary activities, and the objective is to personalize it. And the thing I use.
Care of yourself. This one is unit 9 for vocabulary, not unit 8.
Wait, I'm sorry. I think I misplaced the.
You might have proceed on.
Where is it? This one, right? Or not? Is it this one?
No. This one is for unit 9.
Also, okay.
Yeah. I apologize. I accidentally misplaced the slides. So moving on to the next one. Teaching issues.
No, not teaching issues.
Culture. Yeah, culture.
All right. So here is my part. I'm going to do part culture. So for the first one is the checklist. The culture is a central focus throughout the textbook, not only cultural comments in bracket, close bracket. I strongly agree with this one. I give it 5. This is because like various cultural elements could be found throughout the book. Even the cultural comments are very well informed and very beneficial towards the students. And I mean, like almost the whole chapter is all about culture. And the second one is information from a wide variety of English-speaking countries is included. And I agree on this one. I give it 4. This is due to the information regarding several English countries such as British and Irish superstitions are included in the textbook. However, more English-speaking countries could be incorporated into the textbook. This will, I think, this should add more to it. The third one is activities promote social linguistic competence. In bracket, what is appropriate in specific context. And I agree with this one too, because the activities are interesting, and also it do promote social linguistic competence. So and the students can relate to their own culture. Okay, next slide. Yeah, that's done my part. Audience, Ali.
Okay. So the audience, which are the students, this concerns the students. Okay. The first one on the chat list, chapter themes are relevant and interesting to students, which I agree because the theme of good luck and bad luck, superstitions, are something that is very basic and interesting for students. So the students will be intrigued with the chapter, and these themes are also relevant to the student's age. Okay. So the second one is the textbook is learner friendly, provides strategies, priorities, and tips. Okay, so I strongly agree with this one. There's lots of tips and interactive videos, audios that the students can use to guide them to improve their learning experience. So if you look at the textbook, there's a lot of guides and tips on little boxes throughout the unit. So I think this is a very good representation that is very useful for students and easy for students to use. Okay, next slide. All right, teaching issues.
Okay, going back again to the teaching issues, the textbook facilitates lesson planning, and I'm strongly agree with this. We can see throughout the textbook that lots of instructions for teachers, like to carry out their lesson planning or when to like apply in the teaching. The textbook ensures a well-through planning for teachers to apply in the teaching. And the second one is technologies incorporated not only in the textbook but also with all ancillary materials. Ancillary materials. And I'm strongly agree with this. As we can see, a clear incorporation of technologies such as like audio CDs, even like videos can be seen in both the textbooks and the materials. And yeah, next slide.
All right, sorry to interrupt before you move on to Unit 9.
Okay.
Okay, now, what is the justifications of the technology that you understand? Is it just as long as there are video clips and so on recording considered technology?
In my personal opinion, I believe technology, like it can be like internet can be counted as technology. They also got like web. If I'm not mistaken, they also got like this section of like they included like web, something like that inside the textbook. That also can be counted as technology. Even I believe that the CD part, like because I look at the what do you call it? The checkbox. Is the checkbox? Checklist is the checklist. And over there, they listed the ancillary materials like CD, ROM, and all audios. Yeah. And I took that as reference towards it, in my opinion.
So that is the technology that you think is enough for the students?
Overall, I think because like, in my opinion, it's like Form 2 students. I think that it is suffice. It's already suffice for them. Maybe like we could add more, but I think that it is like they are suitable for the students, and I would say that they are enough for the students, in my opinion.
All right, I'm sorry to interrupt your Unit 9's presentations, and I think you need to do re-evaluations.
Understood.
For your student group, because I can see that everything that you have evaluated for Unit 8 itself is agreed, number 5. Actually, there are a lot of lack of in between. Okay, now let's look back to the task book that you said that you agree for reading skill itself. So which part of the session that you all agree? Is there any sufficient materials of teaching being guided? And there are 5 questions, 4 steps of conducting here. So which one is the pre-activity? Which one is the post-activity? And same go to speaking as well. And actually the information as well that you have provided that you can see in the task book here, there is a very limited sections, even grammar section as well. Okay, that's why I'm interrupting, sorry. Okay, because if you proceed, your marks will not be very good. I'm being honest to you. Okay, because there are a lack of in between here, and then you said that okay, it is fulfilling that sessions of the skill content learning. So when you are justifying these sections of learning itself, do you refer to the syllabus, the SOW of the content? So what are the SOW of the skill focus for the textbook you need on this page? Does the planning itself fulfill or not? Okay, so from what you analyze here, it is more towards your perceptions, your opinion of judgments. Okay, especially when come into the vocabulary sections, the culture sections. Okay, I'm not sure how were you doing it. Do you all sit down together for the agreement, or you are dividing the skill according to individual?
We divided things according to individuals.
But then we do it together.
That is what I expected the answer to be, honestly. That's why I'm
Probably-
asking you this question.
Mhm.
Okay? Because from the judgments that you presented here, it is very opinions to individual. So you cannot see the comparison of the lack of in between because you yourself think that that's why all the analysis is all 4 and 5 that you think is enough and you do not refer to the sleepers in the proper form. Okay? I do not see any, because from what you presented, nothing need to be added. Nothing is lack of here. So what are you going to reproduce it? And actually in the culture, in the vocabulary, is everything not enough? The practices of the skills of the usage of the list of vocabulary. Yes, you may divide the skill, but I think I did mention that before you assign the skill itself, you all need to sit down to discuss together. And then you need to refer to the sleepers. Okay, from your evaluation here, I can see that you do not refer to the sleepers. That's why everything agree. For you, everything for the first glance, as I told you, for the first glance itself, yes, everything is good. But if you're looking into the skills of the lessons of learning, even listening here, in this past textbook, the lack of is the techniques of guidance. There's no technique of guidance according to the syllabus of skills that students need to master. None of the skill fulfill that. The material they provided here is just it can be used as a guidance of the guidance of the lessons, but teachers need to talk up a lot. When we refer into syllabus itself, we need to look into the skill. Okay, if you look into CFR, the textbook itself, without referring to the syllabus, everything is good. But if you really look in depth one by one of each sections of the page according to the syllabus of the skill, the techniques the student need to master, the content is not enough, in especially writing sections. Okay, now, just now you said that the emoji. Okay, so what is the focus of this unit lessons of writing that they need to fulfill for the sections? They are supposed to write. They are supposed to write email of a personal email to express, to share knowledge in between with the students, with their friends, their pen pal. Okay, so how should the email to be written with a good, consider a good email writing for evaluations purposes of marks? What is the arrangement the students need to include? So is there any guidance here? Yes, they use emoji, they play games and so on. They did some questions there. But how should a piece of essay writing consider a good email response? You get what I mean? How should the students start? Like now, I ask you to write an email to your friends. How should you start? You put yourself back to Form 2 at that age. What is expected to be the first sentence? How do I need to start the first sentence? How should I continue? How many paragraphs do I need to write? What should I write in the paragraph? So all these things is not being guided. The pre-activities of the guidance is not there. Get what I meant now? And same go to the speaking sections as well. Okay, same go to the speaking sections as well. You ask the students to do role play. Want to add on role play. Okay, what kind of role play? What is the content of role play? What are they supposed to speak? How do they start to speak? The role play is just merely acting the actions, or it has the content of speaking. So what are the content of speaking that is needed? You get what I meant now? So these are all the lack of in the lessons, in the textbook itself. And then after that, where is the guided activities? And the post activities is referring to the productivity. So where is the productivity? So when it comes to productivity of the speaking, where is the situations of the speaking? You cannot just merely ask the student, okay, now you do role play. So what is your expectations of the content for role play? The post activity. You know what I meant? Yes, good. You added on kinesthetic role play. So what is your expectation of role play? Is there any situational task being given? And what should they add? Or they can add freely anything that they want. Get it? Hi.
Yes, madam.
Yes.
I'm going in depth, okay? I'm sorry because my style I will go direct to points to make you really think of it. What is the lack of? Because when you understand this, then only you can prepare the lessons in the good form of guiding the students. It doesn't matter the students are good or weak. You understand what I say now? Okay.
Yeah.
That is speaking. There's no guidance. Okay. Writing also there's no guidance. Okay. Now we come to listening and speaking. Listening itself. Okay. Yes. As your friend presented, everything is good. They have audio, they have recording, and so on. Okay. Now questions come back. First, have you played the audio and listened? Have you find the audios of listening? The speed of the audio? The accents of the audio? And then have you tried the audio sessions with the questionings? Will you be able to obtain the answer directly? Or is there any transformations of the format, the forms of writing the answer that needed? And then only you will look into the judgments of the instructions of the listening sessions. Yeah? Does the instructions be guided clearly? And then vocabulary sections of preparing the students to complete the task of the blank basic there. Get what I meant? Yes or no? Ali, don't be stressed. Ali, I can see that you are stressed. You know what I mean?
I'm being serious. It's my serious face.
I hope that the question that I'm posting to you right now, it triggered into your analysis, your evaluations now. These are the, I can see that these are the things that you didn't see. Because probably you are evaluating with the first glance of the content flip through. Okay? Get it?
Anyway.
All right. Okay. And then grammar. Cerewetnya macam retiny.
No.
All right. Okay. Now, coming to the grammar itself, you did the comparison of the past tenses and perfect tenses, present perfect tense for the students to do understanding. Good. All right. Good. In the sense of, but if possible, you are going to do the comparison, the table by table, side by side, with the example of sentences. Sentences of usage according to the situations. And where is the clue of words or situations or the time frame to justify that this sentence will be in past tenses and this sentence will be in present perfect. Result. We provided the table, okay, but then the usage of really. The sentences of exercises in situational contextualized is not enough. Okay, so in the textbook here, yeah, the students are going to fill in the blanks with the sentence. But then, if you look into the blanks itself, is there any really focus into the verb form of usage for the students to practice how to change the form of past tenses and the form of present perfect tense? The exercises content there is lack of. All right. And then if you look into the exercises, they are giving the choices for the students. So students can choose correctly, but when we are just putting the best form of verb in bracket in the sentence itself, mixed sentences, all right, sentences or a paragraph of exercises of mixed present tense and present perfect tense, can the students justify the blanks correctly evaluate the usage of differences in between past tense and present tense by using the content of the team. All right, the activities, superstitions, good luck and bad luck. The situationalized contextual practices, it is not clear. Okay. All right. So I need you to look into this analysis and add it on. All right. So now I guided you for the unit 8 itself. The lack of your analysis in your checklist. Yes, checklist provided. You are judging according to your perceptions. You are not judging in the view of as a whole of teaching learning process. That's why when you are judging as a view of individual perceptions towards the unit and towards the skill itself, everything will fall apart. But when you are judging and evaluating the content as the part of students' learning sessions and practices of skill mastering, the content is lack of. Okay? The group?
Yes, madam.
Yes, madam.
Now you see the view, the angle of your evaluations. Why your evaluation everything 4 at 5, but now when I'm judging into the perceptions of teaching, learning, content of practices here, it is not at 5. Okay. All right. So I need you to redo. Okay. I need you to redo. Right, especially your unit 9, you haven't presented, because if I let you proceed, the same thing will happen.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, and now I explain. I hope that you get to see the view. Okay, all right. I'm sorry to comment it directly in this form because it will be looking into the perceptions of the teaching. We're looking into the perception of the teaching and then why all the English teachers fail to teach the students, and we always came out with the statement that students are weak. Honestly, if you're going to use this textbook back in the classroom, your whole lesson is a failure. I can guarantee that it doesn't matter where you are conducting. Why failure? Because there's no clear guidance. There's no clear guidance here. And then the practices of usage, sentences, and then teachers' explanation and the technique of guiding to obtain the expected answer and writing concept itself is a failure. Ali, are you okay?
Yes, I'm okay, madam. Just listening.
Ali dah sampai bulan.
Yes, dia marah madam ni.
Hati dia.
I'm just listening, madam.
Okay. All right. So I hope that you get the input here and the rest of the team as well, the other groups, okay? Because normally those who are with me already, those who are my ex-students, they knew that the first week, the first 2 groups, normally I will give chances. But the coming groups, I won't give any because I have commented what the mistake they make, it will be the same thing that you are making mistake as well, so you improve from there. So expectation, those who are getting the weeks after, expectation is higher. Okay. All right. So group 2, I need you to re-edit back the sections, including your unit 8 and unit 9. Next week, you will represent again.
Next
Wednesday, madam?
Monday or Wednesday, madam?
Monday.
Monday.
Next Monday. Okay. So enough time. You have tomorrow public holiday, so sit down for the discussions again. All right. Look back into my comments that I have given. Okay. Got it? Because I can see that's why just now I asked you the questions. You did it individually or you discussed. Okay.
I have some questions regarding the
Yes,
part.
you may ask.
Like for the culture part, like we don't really have it in like SOW and all for the culture part, right?
Okay. Yes, in SOW, we don't have culture part. In SOW, we are only focusing into skill. Okay, now the culture part is you are going to look into the justification of the material selected. Does it expose the students to have the familiarity of understanding?
Okay.
All right. So the culture here is looking into these selections of the topic itself. Do they have the bias in between? And then the language usage, is it only biased? That means the selections of the content, the words that use is not only is not suitable or meant to be used in Malaysia. Is there any bias in between? And then does it able to relate into our content of the learning or not? That means our mentality of acceptance into it.
Understand. So, if I may ask, like you kind of seen like the culture part, right? And what is your comment on that? And also, like when we're talking about technology, I know like you were saying that it's not enough and all, right? So like for the culture part.
All right. For the culture part sections, okay, if you look into the analysis, there are 3 points there, correct? One is the culture of the center activity focus throughout. All right. So does the activity in the whole sections, it is suitable in Malaysia context or not? That means the activity that you look into it, does it have has any bias in between? That means this is only applicable for overseas countries of classroom learning and it is not applicable for our Malaysian classroom of learning.
Okay.
And then information of language that use social link. So is it a general standard language use or it is only a language that meant for understanding according to a particular countries? Just like for example, Bahasa Melayu. Okay, Kelantanese, they have the Bahasa Melayu of pronunciation, which is only understood by that category. So does it happen in these cultures of the English of the social link? So that means the word selections that we use here, okay, does it lead into the misconfusing sections, all right, the confusing sections or misleading of understanding. When come to our Malaysia culture, it has different meaning.
Okay, I understand that part. But what about the social linguistic competency?
Okay, the activities that promote social linguistic competency here. Okay, it will be looking into a specific content. That means does this particular materials, okay, like what I said, learning standard. So if you say that in your syllabus focus here, we are going to practice the students, providing the students able to justify and explain personal opinions. So does this activity promote this guidance or not for the students?
So like the students have like they need to relate with the activity or they need to find it interesting?
No, not the students have to relate the content of preparations of the activity that designed in the textbook. Does it practice this for the students or not? Does it help the students to do the practices of justification and explain for personal stand or opinions? Okay, like just now, the first group that presented, there's one, reading with speaking. So the speaking itself is able to narrate and express opinions towards a certain topic. So does the content itself of the activity guided the students to do the expressions or not? So in this textbook itself, in this unit, in this under reading itself, does it have this activity of guiding the students into the practice of speaking sections, or it is just merely focusing into answering true false question under reading? So then, if it is focusing into true false question answering reading, so does these questions constructed did help the students trigger into the thinking sections of opinion judgments towards the topic, narrating the story or not, narrating the experience or not? So if no, then the sections of this is a failure.
So the culture needs to be critical, something like that.
So you are looking the culture as whole. Okay, so you have to. That's why I told you you need a syllabus when you are evaluating the unit of the task book. Okay, based on what I analyzed from your feedbacks from your slide that prepared, I can see that if I'm wrong, you correct me. I can see that you do not refer map into the syllabus. I'm not sure whether you did or not, But from the view that you have selected and the way that you presented, okay, you are judging the textbook according to personal opinion.
We did refer to the SOW, but we didn't see it from a teacher perspective, just like you said. We just look at
The learning perspective, the learning and teaching perspective. Okay. Remember, when the criteria of evaluation, we have the students. Students, we have to emphasize the content of the learning. Does this material fulfill the guided the strategies of the learning or not? And teachers will be delivering that sessions to the students. Remember the lessons that I presented last week? So this is the part that you lack of.
All right.
Okay? Good try, actually, because when you have done it, then when I explain back what is the lack of, you can see a clearer view. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
You can see clearer. Because if you don't do it, all right, you cannot understand what is how to apply it in the reality. Okay?
Okay.
Applying is hard.
Yes. It's
Right?
really hard. Madam, so only jadi macam I must have madam, macam mana kata? So only this part lah yang problem. Other than that semua ngama.
Activities, comments is soft lack of. Okay. So when you what kind of method that you are expanded improving sections, taught up sections that is not clearly been presented.
Oh, so we should describe the method of.
Yes.
Okay. Issue. Right.
Okay, last question about the social linguistic competency. I don't care anymore about it. The social linguistic competence at the part, we only speak about we only look at it in the context of cultural awareness punya section, only not the whole because the first checklist, it said that cultural as a whole of the unit, right?
Yes, you have to analyze the whole unit as well.
When you're talking about the special, only the culture.
Okay, when you are answering the culture here, the evaluation of the 3 criteria, you are not going to focus only one activity, not only one skill. You have to look at the whole unit. Understand or not? So now you have the syllabus with you, then you will look into comparing, and at the same time you will judge into it. Hi.
Yeah, I can hear you.
You have to.
I was lagging, madam. I did. I was lagging just now. So I saw you spoke very fast and skip some points, but it's okay. I think I can ask
properly the line stuff.
Guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you will be looking.
I can hear you guys. Can you guys hear me? No, right?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. So we need to look it as a whole. All right. It is not going into page by page. You are going to look into skill by skill. Then when you evaluate it, you will do the compilations of the feedback for the whole unit itself, for the culture section. All right. I hope I answer your questions, Alif.
Alif.
Hi.
Madam, I have a question regarding the grammar.
Yes, Aaron.
For the grammar in the SOW, it doesn't state any learning standard. It just said that it is a grammar activity. So
Yes. Grammar has no learning standard, correct?
Yes.
They
And
don't
so
have the endpoint.
in the textbook, it's only given past simple and present perfect. So is it like
Correct.
I can give more future? Present continuous. Is it I can?
No, cannot.
So I have to follow that. Emphasize on that too only.
Yes, correct. And you have to make sure they are applying the grammar in contextualize of usage. Grammar now in CFR, we do not have grammar per se itself. Grammar is integrated in skills of contextualized of practices. So that's why in grammar, there is no learning standard. But you are only covering the elements of the grammar that has been given, and the questioning exercises that you have gathered, you need to provide the rules of usage, right, in a clear form, and students will be able to analyze it, right, for the correct form of usage, because they need to do analysis, error analysis, and they have to justify the rules of usage why it is not suitable. So after you have done the sections of the rules presentations itself, then you must come in the exercises. And in the questioning of exercises, that you need to underline where are the time frame of justification for the sentence. It needs to be used in past tense, or it needs to select present perfect tenses. Okay, in present perfect tenses itself, the actions that happen in the past without a specific time, and you can just justify the sentence by using the words for and since. While in the past tenses itself, it will be focusing a specific time or duration. When does it happen? When does that action actually happen or ended at the moment of the time? Okay, clear now? So then,
yeah.
In a way, I guess.
Yes.
Naresh mute.
Cannot hear Aaron.
Sorry, I mute it. Okay, so I give the examples on past simple and present perfect, the rules of it, and then I give the example like how to apply it, and I highlight the words according to the time frame.
Yes, so you are going to put it side by side for comparison, because students tend to confuse. I think even you yourself confused that when am I supposed to use past tense and when am I supposed to use present perfect tenses. So it will be coming side by side, comparing in the between of usage. So you will put that the elements of the sections of transforms itself, like time, activities, or what. So you have to justify the category sections. Okay. If can you show the students in the time frame, the time allocations, the time, this is present and this is past, when does the actions ended of the past tense, and then present perfect tense, it will start in the past, but then it will still can see the result until the present. So they can see the differences in between.
Understood. And
Okay.
for the exercise, if the exercise in the textbook is relevant, I mean it's okay to be used for the students, can I just like take it and maybe like add a bit more of question, or I need to adapt it more?
Okay. The questions in the textbook, especially the questions number 3 as well, all right, the time situation is not clear enough. If we are looking into justifications of the usage based on contextual clue, it is not. Okay.
So I need to add in different questions. Okay.
Correct. And then if can't, either you do guide the students, all right, for the, you can add on the section is analysis, error analysis, because that is the part of the DSKP assessments. Error analysis, they are not just merely filling in the blanks, they won't be choosing the correct choices of answer. Okay, so if you want to do the correct choices of answer, because for secondary, the grammar, they are not choosing the correct form of answer. Primary school, yes, they have the multiple choices for them to construct and choosing. But then for secondary, there will be a contextual text given, and they have to analyze the errors, and then they have to justify, and then they have to do correction, just like your university level. There is a text of the past tenses and present perfect tenses being used in the sentences, and then you have to identify there are 10 errors here. So what are the 10 errors? So you have to analyze and you have to do the corrections and you have to justify. That is the level of testing right now. Okay, so in terms of contextualized preparations, not enough.
For the grammar exercise, how many exercise is preferable, madam? I mean, like, how many do you recommend to?
Oh, there's no, I cannot recommend anything. It depends on yours. And then normally grammar we will bring in activities as well through technology, games as well should be integrated for the students to have fun. If you look into the whole unit itself, it's not fun. It's a very boring, very classroom traditional learning exercises. Okay, if you look into the whole unit, it is not fun. It's more to an exam-oriented style of learning. Although the material design is in the fun, very attractive and authentic view, but then in the practices itself, it's very traditional classroom, and it is very teacher control centered classroom. Okay, if you really look into it, it's not only for Form 1 and Form 2, actually for all the textbook itself. It's a very, honestly, if you want to say independent, the answer is no. The independent, that means students have the chance of doing it by themselves. But if you really analyze and sit down to look into it, it is actually teachers' control activity. Okay, so like speaking as well, we want the students to do role play. So where's the focus of role play? Okay, if you want to do a conducting an independent activity, okay, students only, teachers' role will come in only at pre-activity of guidance teaching sessions. After that, no more. In the post-activity, there are all situations created for the students to have the freedom of practicing by themselves to produce back the language. But if you can see in here, there is none. Okay, for the other groups as well, please look into it. Even Form 4 textbook as well, there is none. It is very traditional form. You copy down, you jot down your answer in the textbook. Okay?
Alright, madam.
Hai. Banyak cakapnya madam ni cerewet sangat.
Ada madam bagi advice, okay.
Alright.
Sangat bantu madam.
So I'm sorry, I'm going very detailed because it will affect your section of teaching. Okay?
Okay.
One more question, madam. This is regarding the checklist question about the grammar. It says the sequencing of grammar coincides with the course objectives. Example, communicative. What does that mean actually?
Practices. That's why I said contextualize. Contextualize means in the reality of practices. How do they apply this present tense, the past tense and present perfect tense in the reality of conversations, reality of exercises?
Or like daily lifestyle, like how?
Correct. So like for example, this topic is talking about, okay, good luck and bad luck. So what kind of situations that they can use the good luck and bad luck with the past tense and present perfect tense in their reality life of contextual situations? So this is what I meant of lack of. Understand? It means in the reality now, like you all learn, you know this past, you know this part of speech, but you ask yourself back in your conversation of practices, when did you ever use perfect tense, present perfect tense correctly? You see or not?
Yes.
Okay. This is what we meant here. The contextualize and the situational is not being applicable in this grammar.
Understood.
Okay.
One more
We
last
have
class.
given the students like some exercises of paragraph or the situations of the reality of bad luck and good luck activities or environment that they face, and then how should they use the tenses itself correctly in that situation. And when after they practice this exercise with you, then they go out of the classroom, and then when they're talking about their bad luck and good luck, they will use the correct past, okay, the tenses itself correctly in the sentence that discussions. I think this is what we expected. Correct?
Yes. And for the last one, the grammatical concepts are meaningful recycled throughout the text. What does it mean by the grammatical concepts?
Okay, that means
Like,
in this whole unit, they are learning only present tense, present perfect tense, and past tenses. So through all the skill, the whole unit of learning, are they applying back this in the contextual? Are they applying back throughout the whole lessons? That means in the passage of reading, in the recording of speaking and listening, do they have the clear use of present tense and past tenses in the whole?
Oh, so I don't see in the grammar context. So I
No.
have to see for the whole skills as well in the whole unit.
Yes.
Get it?
Get it?
Yes, get it.
Okay, the rest, get it? Okay, I hope your group, you will sit down together and look in depth together. Because I do not want you only able to mastering one skill only. Because when it comes to teaching, you need to master the whole sections. Okay? I need you all to sit down to discuss together and look together. Okay, like for example, Ali, you gave your opinions toward this. So the other team member, you will look into it. What Ali suggested, is it correct or not, suitable or not? So what is your point of view? What is the lack of? And then Ali will jot down everything and Ali will provide the materials and evaluation according to the whole team point of view. But Ali will just prepare for the reading section. But the opinion is not coming from Ali in reading only. Like Aaron, you are doing grammar. The grammar procession is not coming from your own justification, but the whole team member did contribute the idea of discussions. Then you are in charge to complete the session of grammar from the view that given by your team. Then the answer of analysis evaluation here will be totally different. Understand now?
Yes.
Madam.
Okay, and I hope the other members did the same thing as well. Yes. Who is calling madam?
Alif.
Alif.
Alif. Hold on, I open my camera. Hold on. Okay, my internet is kind of bad, but I'll try. So basically, okay, this is just confirmation, right? I'm gonna ask the same question just for the confirm thing. So like, for the social linguistic competence, it's not about relating the students with the
Okay, what is a social linguistic actually meant? Okay, now you have to understand the term of social linguistic. What is linguistic?
Society and language.
What is social linguistic?
Yeah, like Ali said, society and
We
language.
know that it's language, but social linguistic?
and culture.
Society.
Is it only language and culture or the
I'm
language
sorry if
culture?
I repel about lagging and teruk gila.
Okay, madam.
So you need to understand the justification of social linguistic here. Social linguistic is not just the language and the culture. It's the language and the culture and the environment of usage accordingly.
Okay.
You get what I mean here? Okay, so we will be looking into the whole sections of the usage. Is there any biasness? That means, okay, example is like certain words that selected is only like jargon towards certain line of view. Okay, for example, the words that selected it is only appearing in music only, it won't appear in other situations. So is there any bias in these sections or not? That is the social link that we will be looking into. It is not meant for any specific field of usage or specific group of people usage, but it is a standard language for understanding of in general. It's a common language, in other words to say. Like certain term, it will appear only in medical or business. And the students will not be using this word in general situation. It will only use when it comes to business. We are looking into this.
Like jargon.
Yes, jargon. Correct.
So basically, we're trying to see if there's any jargon or
yes, jargon or pidgin as well as the clue. So this is what the social linguistic will be looking into. That's why the whole units of the language usage.
Okay. So when we're teaching, we should include these like some kind of jargon or slang.
No, we are not supposed to have in any content. So we are avoiding all this in the sections of learning.
So we rate it like a 5. So that's a bad lah.
Like for example, kinesthetic learners, it is only understood for educational people. And kinesthetic, the other lines like business students, they do not know what is kinesthetic, what is audiolingual method. So these are all jargon. We are avoiding all this, and we are not supposed to use this to tell the students as well. Understand or not?
Yes.
Okay. if you look into grammar here, even they are teaching the students for past tenses, they do not use the term regular and irregular. Regular and irregular tense, past tense, all right, past tenses or singular and plural, we have regular and irregular form. This one is only understood by TESOL students. For non-TESOL students, they do not know. And even in the textbook, we do not bring in all this. We do not tell students, okay, now we are going to learn irregular past tenses. They will quick what is irregular, but we are teaching them as a past tense in general whole.
So we don't make it like complex.
No. Understand now? So we do not confuse the students for that. Once we confuse the students in that, then the failure of the language usage itself will occur. So in the whole evaluation, we do not want this to happen. Clear now?
Yes, clear, madam.
Okay. Any questions?
Okay, Naresh, go.
Okay, it's not like you said, like don't make it complex. So like one of the grammatical, I think in unit 9, one of the grammar exercise is mentioned about the usage of should, shouldn't, must, mustn't. So that is like under modal verbs. So should I like?
We will give them the usage. We have to present them the usage, but we do not go in specific terms that only understood by us.
Okay, so I don't like mention that this is like a modal verb. So I don't.
Yes, we don't mention it because if you look into it, they do not give you the terms as well modal verb. No.
And also, I don't need to like give other modal verbs, right? Like can, I don't need, right? So I just focus on should, shouldn't, must, and mustn't.
Yes. So you will let them know the usage. When are they supposed to use should and shouldn't, and when are they supposed to use must and mustn't? Because this one will look into the possibility of the activities happening.
All right.
Okay?
Yes.
We do not want to confuse the students for the jargon, the technical terms which is understood by us only.
Okay. Madam, so we're going to present on Monday next week. So is it still possible to have a consultation whenever you're free?
You can, if you Friday I can. Tomorrow is public holiday, right? Friday. Because if Monday, you don't have enough time to edit because the class is in the evening. Monday morning, I can't. Monday morning, I have exam paper vetting.
Okay.
Okay. You can contact back with me on Friday. Okay. I don't have class, but actually I have discussions and then with other lecturers. Okay. Don't worry. You text me and then I will arrange the time to meet you.
Okay.
Okay. You text me.
If it's on Friday, then probably in the afternoon or something like that.
Okay. No problem.
Okay. Thank you, madam.
All right.
Madam, I have a question.
Yes, Fating.
For group 1 just now, do we need to fix our slides or do we just submit the current one and then fix
you need to
everything on second?
the one that I commented, the lack of sections. All right, and I will let you do resubmissions of the slides for better grading.
So we need to fix it in the slides and the second assignment.
Correct.
Okay.